You're about to make your first real estate offer. You've done the research. You've watched the videos. You're ready to move. But here's the thing. You may be about to make an offer that could hurt you. Not because you're not smart enough. Because nobody told you what to put in place before the offer goes in. There are two types of beginners in this space. The first type studies forever. They analyze every spreadsheet, listen to every podcast, and keep saying they're almost ready. But they never move, so they never learn anything real. The second type moves too fast. Someone told them to take massive action, so they start throwing offers out at anything that looks cheap, without understanding value, repairs, or what they'd even do with the deal. Both approaches will cost you. The goal is the third path, responsible action. You move, but you move with the foundation under you. This video is about building that foundation. If you're new to real estate investing, making your first offer feels like the moment everything becomes real. And it is. Once you put an offer in writing, you're no longer just watching videos and taking notes. You're in the market. You're telling a seller or an agent, here is what I'm willing to do. But most beginners think they need to feel completely ready before making that move. You won't. No beginner does. The goal isn't to remove all uncertainty. The goal is to make sure your offer is based on numbers instead of emotion. The pressure to make offers is real. People in the space will tell you that you make as many offers that you can, and that offers are how you learn. That speed is the edge, and some of that is true, but when action gets separated from analysis, it becomes gambling. And I've watched beginners get into contract on deals they couldn't evaluate, they couldn't fund, and couldn't exit. Not because they were careless, but because they skipped the foundation. I'm the insider, and I've built Seminar Insider to help new investors understand this business before getting sold on expensive coaching or education. Programs that skip the basics. This playlist is about those basics. So let's walk through what you actually need before your first offer goes in. The first thing you need is a clear exit strategy. An offer only makes sense when it fits a plan. Are you buying and holding for rental income, fixing and reselling, wholesaling to another investor? Each strategy changes the number you offer, the financing that you need, and what a good deal actually means. Now, before you offer, ask, how does this deal make money? What numbers matter for my strategy? If you can't answer that, you're not ready yet. The second thing you need is a realistic property value. This is the most important number in any deal. If you're wrong about value, everything else is wrong. For a flip, that usually means after repair value, what the property should sell for once it's fixed. For a rental, it means both the property value and a realistic rent figure. To get there, you need comps. Comparable properties that recently sold nearby that are similar in size, similar in condition, bedroom count, and location. Don't use the nicest house across town to justify your number. Don't rely only on an online estimate. Don't use the seller's opinion. Before you offer, you should be able to say, here are the comparable sales. Here's why I believe the property is worth this amount. And here's the range where I could be wrong. That last part matters. Good investors don't pretend their number is perfect. They understand the range. The third thing you need is a repair estimate. You don't need to be a contractor, but you need a reasonable sense of what the property requires. Walk the major categories: the roof, the HVAC system, electrical, plumbing, foundation, kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, exterior, and always leave room for surprises. Be careful with heavy rehab deals. A house that needs paint and flooring is one thing. Foundation issues and old electrical is a very different deal. Your offer should never assume the best case repair number. The fourth thing you need is the full cost picture. Most beginners calculate value minus purchase price, minus repairs, and call that profit. That's incomplete. You also have closing costs, holding costs, financing costs, insurance, taxes, agent commissions, selling costs, and reserves. For a rental, add vacancy, maintenance, property management, and capital expenses. For a flip, factor in how long the rehab and resale actually takes. Know your full cost stack before you offer. That's the first half of what you need: a strategy, a realistic value, a repair estimate, and a complete cost picture. Now, if you want help avoiding the pressure that pushes beginners into bad decisions, then download the free seminar survival guide in the link below. It helps you slow down, ask better questions, and avoid moving because someone pushed you instead of because the numbers were. But let's keep going. The fifth thing you need is a maximum allowable offer, or an MAO. This is the highest price you can pay and still make the deal work. Calculate it before the conversation starts, because once you're talking to a seller, it's easy to get pulled above your number. You want the deal. You don't want to lose it. You start telling yourself a thin margin is fine, and that's how beginners overpay. Know your ceiling before you negotiate. Now, the sixth thing you need is a funding path. You don't need every dollar in your bank account before making an offer, but you need to know how the deal gets funded if it's accepted. Is it cash, a conventional loan, hard money, private money, a partner? Each path has different costs, timelines, and requirements. Now, before you offer, you need to ask the question, how would I actually close this deal? Now, the seventh thing you need is a due diligence plan. An offer isn't the end of analysis, it's the beginning of verification. Before you offer, know who's going to inspect the property, who's reviewing title, and what would make you renegotiate or walk away. A serious investor doesn't close every deal. They close the ones where the facts hold up. The eighth thing you need is permission to walk away. Your first offer doesn't need to become your first closed deal. It probably won't, and that's normal. Offers are how you learn the market. You may find the repairs are worse than expected. The title may have an issue. Your value estimate may have been off. Walking away from a bad deal is discipline. It's not failure. Now, here's the insider breakdown. Here's what they showed you. Take massive action, make offers, talk to sellers, get under contract. That message isn't wrong. Beginners do need to move. It can become dangerous when action is the whole message and analysis is an afterthought. Now, what they leave out? Everything that should happen before the offer. The comps, the repair estimate, the exit strategy, the full cost picture, the funding path, and the due diligence plan. Most importantly, the walk-away point. They also leave out how many offers get rejected before one sticks, which matters because beginners can feel like rejection means they're doing something wrong. And usually, it just means they're participating in the market. Now, what you actually need to know, the quality of your offer matters. A good offer isn't just a low number. It's tied to the seller's situation, the property's value, the cost, the risks, and a clear exit. When you know why your number is your number, you're thinking like an investor. Now, here's the first offer checklist. Before any offer goes in, write these down. 1, what is your strategy? 2, your value estimate and the cost behind it. 3, your repair estimate. 4, your full cost picture. 5, what's your maximum allowable offer? 6, your funding path. 7, your due diligence plan. And 8, your walk-away reasons. If you can fill all 8 in, you're ready to make a responsible first offer. If you can't, slow down. Not forever, just long enough to make sure you're not moving because the numbers say to, not because someone said to take action. Again, download the free seminar survival guide in the link below. And if you want a structured way to go deeper on deal analysis and beginner strategy, then check out the vault. Now, if you missed the previous video, watch the simple beginner path to your first deal. It lays out the full roadmap before you start trying to force a deal. And once you're making offers, watch how investors decide which deals to walk away from. Because sometimes the deal you pass on protects you more than the one you close.